Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to an all-new Talkin Movies. As always, I am your host, the real Geno Reynolds, and today, even though I don't really want to, we're going to be talking about life itself, starring a bunch of people you probably really like, and a movie that will probably make you question their decision-making when it comes to picking out scripts. And it also makes me question my love of Bob Dylan's music. This will be a spoiler review, but that's okay. From the looks of the box office this weekend, not a lot of people seem too interested in seeing this one anyway. Buckle up, kiddos, because this is going to be a bumpy bus ride. Here's the synopsis of this one, supplied by IMDb. We all know how reliable IMDb is. Here we go. As a young New York couple goes from college romance to marriage and the birth of their first child, the unexpected twists of their journey create reverberations that echo over continents and through lifetimes. Sounds like a magical drama, right? Again, here comes the spoilers. So, if you really want my non-spoiler recommendation, here it is. Stay away. Stay far, 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 far away from this one. Still with me? Okay, you've been warned. I want to start my spoilerific spoiling of this movie by telling you the ending, the end game. The ending that this movie decided to go with. Okay, the narrator of this movie ends up being the granddaughter of two different stories that converge at the very end. Or should I say crash together, maybe, as you'll see in a second. You see, this is somewhat complicated on how the story gets here. But the dad of the narrator, in a way, unintentionally killed the narrator's grandma when she was pregnant with the narrator's mom. So, just remember that. We're going to talk about it a little bit more later. Let's talk about the movie itself for a bit. And boy, is there a lot. You see, the marketing of this movie wants you to believe that this is a little drama, a little movie that's mainly about Oscar Isaac and Olivia Wilde's story, and that's half the family tree. Their family side of the story is only part of the tale. While they do start off the movie and get the story going, the other part involves the narrator's grandparents on Daddy's side. Oscar Isaac and Olivia Wilde is the parents of the mom of the narrator, and the daddy is on the other side. It's confusing. But the marketing just wants you to believe that this is just a little old movie and little old love story about how Oscar Isaac and Olivia Wilde change everybody's lives somehow by the decisions they make. I do want to say that I know how this movie got made. This movie was written and directed by Dan Fogelman, and you're probably asking, Geno, who the hell is that? Well, Dan Fogelman is the creator of the little show that can apparently do no wrong, This Is Us. As someone that created what some people would consider lightning in a bottle, one of those kind of shows, I wouldn't know. I haven't seen the show. I'll take your word for it. Maybe it's good. That's not the point. The point is, when someone creates something magic that many people consider great, usually they are allowed a little leeway to try to create more magic in the hopes that many people will consider that great as well. Life itself is one of those creations, but it's one of those magic spells that would blow up in your face. But it's one of those movies or shows or whatever where I'm guessing there wasn't any real input except for the writer-director himself. So what we end up with is a movie that, since there's really only one person given input, that it's just a little full of its own crap. Before I really get into this one, I will say that while I really didn't like it, it had a few things going for it. While a lot of what was going on was extremely over-dramatized, some of the performances themselves were decent. Oscar Isaac has some scenes where you feel for him a bit, but honestly, this is because he's a good actor and can carry a scene. Mandy Patinkin, as Oscar Isaac's father, was really good too. But again, it's because he's so good, not the story. I would probably say something similar about most of the well-known actors in this movie. They're good. They're doing fine with what they're given, but the story itself is what's dragging the entire thing down. Now, there were some scenes that worked as well. One example is one with Mandy Patinkin and his young granddaughter, again, the narrator's mom, when she was a kid. The scene involves a this is what they wanted to say versus what they really said type of dynamic that I thought worked pretty well. Again, there was some decent stuff sprinkled here and there into the movie, but not enough to cover the over-dramatic bad. Before I go on, I have to ask, did anybody listening to this suffer through the Will Smith movie Collateral Beauty? If you did, do you remember how Will Smith's character kept talking to a woman that at the end of the movie was revealed to be his wife the entire time? While this movie didn't do anything that stupid, it does do that wordplay game where a character is only saying something a certain way to hide things from the audience. It's not the way they would talk in real life to real people. In the case of this movie, Annette Bening's therapist character keeps saying that Abby, that's Olivia Wilde's character, left Will, which is Oscar Isaac's character, insinuating that she left the marriage, ran off, wants a divorce, wants a separation, as if they were having problems, because Oscar Isaac's character is depressed and drunk at the first of the movie. And of course, seeing a therapist. Of course, by left, the therapist really means dead. Just so the audience won't figure out that soon after that, Will is going to blow his freaking brains out with a pistol in the middle of the therapist's office. When a movie hides things from the audience in this type of way, in my notes I have it's kind of insulting, but I'm going to change that and say it's really insulting. After the movie tells the narrator's mom's side of the story in New York, it shifts to the narrator's father's side, which is set all the way in Spain. We meet and find out how the grandfather and grandmother met, fell in love, had a child. Take a deep breath here. And then the grandfather was jealous of his boss being interested in his wife, so instead of fighting for his family, he starts getting drunk and eventually just lets him have her, despite her saying that he's the only one she truly loves and will continue to love forever, even when she's dying of cancer later in the movie. It's so dramatic. In the middle of all that mess, the narrator's grandparents take their son, the narrator's dad, to New York for a vacation. And that's because the grandfather's boss, who gets called uncle by the son, who ends up being kind of replacement daddy, was going to take him there, and his real dad wanted to be the one that gave his kid that because he was an overjealous douche. Anyway, and he was honestly one of the more likable characters at first because you could tell he was a hard worker and everything, but then all of a sudden he's a jealous douche, and it was stupid. Anyway, this is where the movie begins to get even dumber. I mean, it was already dumb to begin with. But it starts getting even dumber because I had a hunch where the whole story was going, and we'll get to it in a bit, but I was right. I was big time right. God, this movie's dumb. Okay, going back to what I asked you to remember earlier, which was the dad of the narrator, in a way, unintentionally killed the narrator's grandma when she was pregnant with the mom. Well, this is where it comes into play. During the New York vacation, the Spanish family is on a bus. And after the quick foreshadowing of telling the kid it's dangerous to go up to the front of the bus, the narrator's father, anyone else having trouble keeping this crap straight? Because I know I am. Anyway, the narrator's father does make his way to the front of the bus after his dad, narrator's grandfather, says, "It's dangerous to go up there. Don't go up there." And he goes up there anyway. He goes to the front of the bus. And by accident, distracts the bus driver, which causes him to plow into a pregnant lady, which again is pregnant with the narrator's mom, killing the mom. Baby survives. This is making me tired. Okay. Long, stupid, really stupid story short. The kid, damn it, the narrator's dad grows up and goes to college in New York. Of course he does. His mom dies of cancer while he's gone, but not before her runaway husband was convinced to come back to watch her die by the uncle's superb letter writing skills. The dying lady, the grandma, acts like the douche never left. She acts like, oh, you haven't been gone all these years and didn't get to see your son grow up and you left me and all of a sudden I'm dying, but you're back, so I guess everything's great. This is making my head hurt. Okay, let's end this crap. Let's talk about my hunch about knowing where this story is going. After the narrator's dad breaks up with his girlfriend, Stupid McStupidson, for playing an April Fool's joke about being pregnant, hilarious. And by the way, the narrator's dad apparently has never heard of anything, because he had never heard of April Fool's Day and a bunch of other stuff. And yes, I know he grew up in Spain, but he apparently knows nothing about he's apparently learned nothing about America or about American culture or stupid jokes or anything, any of his time in this country, because he knows nothing, right? Anyway, he breaks up with his girlfriend for a stupid April Fool's joke. And just a little bit later, he's out for a walk or a run or something. He's like a track star at college, whatever. He runs into a crying narrator's daughter on a street bench. And he asks her, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" And they instantly... Oh, and by the way, this is the same place where the bus hit her mom when the mom was pregnant with her, and the kid who's asking if she's okay was on the bus, and it was his fault the bus hit the mom, and they instantly fall in love. No, seriously. They instantly fall in love. That was my hunch, and it happened, and it's as stupid as it sounds. The narrator then talks about how they never spent a day apart after that, along with all sorts of wannabe deep philosophical bullshit to a happily ever after ending. Of course, the only thing I was thinking besides, oh my God, who the F cares, was, did you ever have the discussion about how you kind of killed her mom? Sort of. Did the narrator ever say, "Hey, Dad, what happened to Grandma?" Or did the two, when they were dating, ever talk about, I was on this bus this one time and a pregnant lady got hit. Oh my God, that's how my mom died, when she was pregnant with me. Did it never come up when talking about parents during dating? Did it ever make Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner awkward? Seriously. This life finds a way happy ending bullcrap is how this is going to end? This movie is frustrating. Okay, this movie wasted great talent. It wastes great music. Mentioned Pulp Fiction multiple times, making me want to leave and watch it instead. And by the way, had wasted narration by Samuel L. Jackson at the beginning. Is way too overdramatic and up its own butt with trying to be philosophical. And this is the movie, not me. Named a dog Fuckface. I'm not kidding. I'm sure I could think of some more stuff, but I feel that by talking about this movie more would be giving it more credit than it deserves, which it doesn't really deserve very much. This is by far shooting up the 2018 worst movies of the year list at the speed of a bus with a distracted driver that is about to hit a pregnant lady and come to a crashing halt near or at the top of the list. Now, in case you couldn't already tell, this one's a pass. That's going to be all for this edition of Talkin Movies. If you like what you've heard here, please subscribe to the Real Geno YouTube channel, like this video, and if you have anything to say about this movie, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Until next time, I'm your host, the Real Geno, Geno Reynolds. See you later.